Hello students, so in this short little presentation we will be looking at geodemography. Yes, geodemography is a well-established, um, I guess, principle that neighborhoods have people in them who operate under the assumption that we want what our neighbors have. Birds of a feather flock together. Essentially, then, if we know information about a neighborhood, um, about the people who live in that neighborhood and how they behave, then we would know about other people who live in that very same neighborhood. PRIZM is what is used in a geodemographic sense, PRIZM, and it is developed by Claritas, which you see here at the top. Claritas is I guess, a business, an organization you might be familiar with in other ways. They established the Nielsen ratings for television and movies, etc. Anyways, they developed PRIZM, which is a psychographic segmentation system. And this segmentation system classifies every U.S. household into one of 68 different lifestyle segments based on things like demographics, consumer behavior, media habits, and purchasing patterns. Now, unlike census data, which tells you who lives in your community, PRIZM tells you how they live, what they buy, what they watch, what they read, and what they value. It's extremely well regarded and has even been used in a court of law for evidentiary purposes. Now, for collection developers, obviously it adds a behavioral layer on top of the raw demographics and other statistics that the census data tells you. Now, both are necessary for a complete community analysis, and neither should replace the other. A student who only uses census data knows that maybe 35% of residents hold a bachelor's degree. Well, a student who adds PRIZM on top of that knows that those college-educated residents in zip code 92223 use the internet for podcasts, shop at outdoor retailers, and have a strong family and home ownership orientation. This is a sort of information which starts to sound like collection development guidance rather than just raw numbers, right? So let's do a search here. Now, if you watch the presentation I did on searching Data USA, we used 92223, which is the city of Beaumont. So we're going to use that again. Just zip code lookup, enter your zip code, submit. So you see right away that this particular neighborhood in 92223 has people who live in it which share the same patterns, social groups, life stage groups with 5 other segments across the United States. And what do these segments represent? Let's look at, one thing I wanted to mention as well. You notice that each of these segments say upscale on them. If you watch that Data USA presentation I did, we used something called a PUMA, P-U-M-A, which is a way the census groups cities that are below 100,000 people together so that it could reach the 100,000 people threshold. So the search that we did in Data USA had a slightly different mix of people involved in it. So you might have seen that the community of Beaumont in that particular search showed a neighborhood of mixed economic and lower classes of residents, mostly Spanish speaking, etc. This particular zip code in this neighborhood shows the more upscale version, and it shows the boundaries here on this map. So what does this mean? What do these segments mean? Unfortunately, to see what these social groups and lifestyle groups habits are, for all 68 of them, you would have to be a member. Of course, you could do a search in Google to see what they mean. We're going to click on one of these five. We'll click on timeshare travelers. And what you see is a nice little definition of what the timeshare travelers are, if it ever downloads for me. There we go. Timeship travelers. These are people who exhibit a blend of behaviors representative of their upscale incomes and small town environment, etc. And furthermore, it's delineated into social group and lifestyle groups. Now, to see the behaviors and habits of these particular larger groups, you would have to be a member. Of course, you can do a Google search. I did a Google search of social group T2 Country Comfort, and what you can see is they prefer print magazines, home and garden publications, country radio. Their leisure time is spent doing home improvement, gardening. Their shopping is high reliance on trusted brand names, quality home goods, etc. Let's go back. We'll look at the life stage group now. I did the same search in Google. This is a consumer segmentation used by marketing data companies that shows the life stage of these people belong to a broader family group, typically consisting of younger to middle-aged adults. They're considered accumulators because they're in their peak earning and acquiring years. Their spending habits heavily lean towards establishing households, upgrading their homes, purchasing goods, and servicing their growing families, etc. Now, if you did a further search in Google, you could pull up Claritas's neighborhood segmentation. It's some 68 pages, and it would go over each one of the behaviors in a lot of detail. I'm not going to spend time on it, but note that even the snapshots that are provided by Claritas can be further defined even if you're not a member. So within their little snapshot of the township travelers, we see a nice little snapshot of that. Some lifestyle media traits that are gleaned from the information provided here. They drive a Nissan, eats at Sonic, etc. Then you can see what neighborhoods around the United States share these same demographic and social and lifestyle habits. Now, what does that mean for us as collection developers? Well, obviously, if we take a look at each one of these marketing segmentations that are provided to us, we would know then that our collection should reflect at least the habits of these particular social groups and what they are interested in. Let's look at empty nesters. Drives a Buick, eats at Carrabba's, shops at Tuesday Morning, take cruises on Royal Caribbean, what they watch on TV. So you can get quite specific about the behavioral patterns of people who live in a community by just searching the Claritas database. Again, just click on zip code lookup, put in a zip code, click submit, and you will get your segmentations here. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you below the segments. In our snapshot that we see here, we do get some demographic data. of course, with the information provided in each of the segmentations would be a quite valuable tool for us as collection developers in purchasing and selecting materials for our community. Okay, that's all I have for you on the Claritas PRIZM database. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.